This show is presented by the 323 Network. You can watch all your favorite 323 friends and shows on the 323 Network YouTube channel, follow us on all social media platforms at 323Reid, and support us as we continue to grow at patreon.com/323Reid. That's 323REID. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 323. I am your host, Reid Murphy.
I'm really happy for you. I'm gonna let you finish.
Wait a minute.
Who the fuck is that guy?
Look at me, Joe.
It's still me.
Welcome to the fucking show. Fuck Scott.
Yeah, fuck him. A little disappointed that Scott never freestyles to this beat. I mean, it would be perfect. I'm just sitting here the whole time. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the 323 Network's College Shame Day. I, of course, am not Scott Elia. Sorry. Apologies to those who, look forward to that beautiful Caucasian awareness and expertise in college football every week. He can't help getting sick. It's terrible here in Virginia. The weather is just all over the place. It's cold one day, hot another, then it's back to freezing, and then it's colder, and it's colder, and it's colder. Sometimes you wind up in a gym that's 59 degrees all day, and then you get sick. That might have been him. That could have been me. Who knows? We're all over the place here at the 323 Network, but I am the guy who got cut off at the beginning of every single show, Reid Murphy. I am your host today. I'll be filling in, trying my best to get a little updated in college football. I mean, this is the guy, Scott Elia, at 323 College Shame Day, is the one who keeps me up to date and is my expertise that I look to for all things college football. I'm going to try to do my best and hold down the fort today because this is a big show. It's usually, of course, every Saturday morning that College Shame Day comes out. Today you're getting it on a Friday afternoon because this Friday, December 20th, 2024, is the beginning, the huge beginning of the expanded college football playoff. Yes, we're here. We made it, and it's going to be insane. There's so much to look forward to. I've been going through the notes. I've been trying to get, up to speed on everything that's going to be happening here in the CFP this season. We have some awesome potential Cinderella teams. And that's the even cooler thing. Usually we have to wait till March for March Madness and the bracket tournaments on ESPN and whatever to, fill out a bracket, look at who's going to be a potential upset or Cinderella teams. We have that in football now, and it's probably just going to get bigger and bigger and more out of control as the years go. But we're going to focus on this smaller but expanded group of college football stars and programs that are going to be on display for all of us here over the next few weeks through this holiday season. So we're going to kick off through it all, but we got to start with the news that we've missed over the last week or so, because there's been plenty that has been going on here in college football. And of course, you have to start with college football's biggest award, right? You have to start with the Heisman Trophy ceremony and celebration. And Scott is one, he's had a lot of thoughts on this. I'm sure he would have loved to have been on this show. I don't know if he's going to be happy that I'm here on this show to talk about all of this today. But, you get what you get when you're sick. I'm here. Like Don Cheadle and Iron Man 2, deal with it. Just work with me. The Heisman came finally last Saturday night. And we all knew it was going to be between Boise State running back Ashton Jeanty and Colorado jack of all trades Travis Hunter, who plays wide receiver and cornerback. the lost Deion Sanders son. We knew that's who it was going to come down to. I don't think any of us thought it was going to be as close as it was. It was literally between about 100 votes of who it came down to between 1 and 2. And then, there's Dylan Gabriel and Cam Ward in there somewhere, but who needs them? This was an incredibly close call, the closest Heisman race since 2009 between Ashton Jeanty and Travis Hunter. And shout out, spoiler alert, congrats to Colorado's Travis Hunter for winning the Heisman this year. Now, there's been a lot of thoughts over this, over whether he deserved it, if this was a popularity contest. The show's own Scott Elliott has called it a popularity contest, and this being proof of it, and defeating the value of the Heisman and the ceremony and the award and what it truly means. You can look at it in a bunch of ways. We look at stats comparisons, right? Ashton Jeanty did something at Boise State that we have not seen in forever, and probably won't see forever, because he was not only this season with the FBS ranking first in rushing yards, first in rushing touchdowns, first in yards per carry with a minimum of 175 attempts. He was first in yards after contact, which he ranked 1,652 yards after contact. He also averaged 4.8 yards after contact, which was, of course, first in the FBS, and he forced 111 missed tackles, which, of course, was first in all FBS rankings. It is a running back season unlike any that we have seen in years, and one that we're not going to see for a long time. His competition, however, was Travis Hunter at Colorado, who has been, a talent. He's been all over the place, literally playing offense and defense. We've been kind of enamored with this in sports recently and a little bit spoiled. We get this in baseball with Shohei Ohtani being able to pitch and hit at a incredible and masterful level. Travis Hunter has been playing really, really good to great football for Colorado over these last couple of years, and particularly this season. You compare the stats here. Hunter had 1,152 receiving yards. That ranked 6th in the FBS. He had 14 receiving touchdowns, which was 2nd in the FBS. 4 interceptions as well on defense. That was tied for 17th in FBS ranking. And he played, I believe, 1,356 snaps in total. That is first in FBS by far. Now, it's not a great comparison. You see everything that Jeanty did first. But with Hunter, you're dipping down into these 6th, these 17ths, all this stuff. You got to take into account dude's playing both sides. He's playing the most by far snaps in college football. What do you want? Not here to fully defend. My personal vote would have been for Jeanty. It was a titanic performance, but I also have to give credit where credit's due, and Hunter was doing things that we have not seen somebody do, I'd argue, since Charles Woodson, successfully. You go with Hunter's impact in games. He had 92 receptions. That's 3rd in FBS. His 1,152 receiving yards, of course, 14 touchdowns. He also had a rushing touchdown. As a corner, you get 4 interceptions at 17th, one away from being tied for 3rd in that ranking. Okay, so that's where you're seeing a little bit of this stuff jumbled. He had a forced fumble, 11 pass breakups, only 32 tackles, but to just play devil's advocate here and defend the kid, those low numbers, 17th in interceptions, whatever the ranking on tackles, that's a little bit of a compliment a lot of the times when it comes to corners. And if you study how cornerbacks and defensive backs play the game, half of the time, quarterbacks don't want to throw your way. If you're going to be a menace towards them, quarterbacks don't want to throw over there. You're not going to see a lot of action if you're shutting down half of the field. So you can't help not getting a certain amount of tackles, not getting a certain amount of interceptions or chances to make plays like that if the offense is having to tailor itself to not going towards you and to avoid you. So you have arguments on both sides. Ashton Jeanty's stats speak for themselves completely. He's also literally the boogeyman, Michael Myers, the way he stands up. He is an icon of college football. Travis Hunter is an icon of college football too. I think this race deserved to be the closest that it has been since 2009. Congrats to them both. Now, while we're talking about Travis Hunter, and we'll only briefly jump into this because the part of all of this spectacle, the Heisman is of course a spectacle, but it's not really cared about too much over the last few years. I cared about it. Shout out Jaden Daniels 2 seasons ago. But when it comes to trying to get young people and kids that are in college who don't give a shit about Colorado or give a shit about Boise State, to make this such a highly rated event in Travis Hunter is a lot of the spectacle surrounding him. He is a incredibly online person, an incredibly viral dude. He's on Twitch, streaming all the time, talking to fans while playing video games all the time. A wonderful, happy kid with an incredible speech that he gave during the ceremony. But it's been a lot of other stuff that's been surrounding him and making the news and making things go viral, particularly with him and his fiancé, Leanna Lenee. And we're not going to dive into it too much. Maybe that's something for the main show. Maybe that's something for our online exclusives. But here on College Shame Day, I'll try to stick to the sport. I'm not going to pretend like I know the kid or his personal life. What goes on in his and Leanna's life is their business, and their love is their love. She's gone on the defense online, and he's turned off comments on Instagram. But we live in a time where everything and everyone is more public and online than ever before. Moments like the post-game confrontation between the two, where he was hyped up and she seemed to be upset about something. There were eagle eyes pointing to a moment when he was chirping at the crowd. Could have been at cheerleaders. Don't know. Moments like the Heisman announcement and her being prompted by Coach Prime to stand up. And moments like the viral Adidas photo shoot where people believed she was complaining about being there while Hunter was doing photo ops with fans. These moments are going to get bigger and bigger and bigger, and the spotlight will just grow and grow as the NFL draft gets closer and after. I fully believe that Travis Hunter has the perfect support system behind him in somebody like Coach Prime, Deion Sanders, a legend of the game, a legend of college football who very famously wore a top hat and tux to the draft and showed up with a 0.0 GPA because he knew what he was doing. He knew that this was a business and he knew how to navigate it. He knows how to navigate and mentor these young dudes. And his family has been through the fame. They've seen it. Shedeur Sanders is his best friend. They know how to help him. They know how to be the support. They don't need us, me and Scott and whoever from the network and folks like Shannon Sharp and Bow Wow throwing shots, and Bow Wow, of all people, throwing shots and potentially spreading misinformation or elevated TikTok rumors while the couple themselves fight for their own reputations online. I will say just this, since it's in proximity to the whole situation, to all folks, not just Travis and Leanna, but all folks, especially young dudes, still figuring themselves out and learning to love themselves while trying to love another. Protect your peace. Give yourself respect. It's important. I know it. We've all seen it here at the network. You can love someone and want the world for them and with them, but if they aren't giving you that same energy and bringing you down in the moments that you're lifted or you want to be uplifted, and they can't give you respect back when you truly are devoting that energy to them and instead are trying to tear you down or keep you at a certain level in a way that impacts your growth because they aren't trying to grow with you or whatever. Like people have insinuated in this situation between Travis and Leanna, show yourself the love and the respect that you deserve, get out and move forward. And if you feel full confidence in that partnership and that love and what you and your person are trying to grow, in spite of what randos and occasionally Hall of Famers online and Bow Wow, despite what they're saying, and we all know Bow Wow just gets in all of our fucking business. Fuck them. Do your thing with your person. Stay strong, and y'all will succeed and be in a better place after the storm. So once again, congrats to Travis Hunter on the Heisman, and hopefully a phenomenal future. And we move forward with just a little bit of other news, because there's not too much happening in college football, and I want to save some for Scott. We had the transfer portal, though. The transfer portal, as much as we could talk about how wild and insane it all is through NIL, there has been some big movements, especially on the quarterback front in the transfer portal. Biggest one so far has been John Mateer, number one quarterback in the portal. From Washington State, he's transferred over to Oklahoma. It follows his offensive coordinator from Washington State, Ben Arbuckle. 2024, the two produced 3,965 total yards of offense and a whopping 44 touchdowns, both on the ground and through the air. Mateer also completed an impressive 65% of his passes while averaging just over 14 yards per completion. It's a huge get for Oklahoma. And maybe what they need to, get the Sooners and that program back into the relevance that it had some years back when, Baker Mayfield was leading on his Heisman campaign. We also had Miller Moss, former USC quarterback. I say former USC quarterback. He is expected to fully commit to Louisville. Moss had 18 touchdowns, 9 interceptions in 9 games as a starter at USC. He has NFL upside. We've been seeing that for a while, and seems like the ideal fit for head coach and Sunday hangover voice, Jeff Brom, who has produced back-to-back 3,000-yard passers with the Cardinals. Both were veteran transfer additions like Moss, so, he was a first-year starter with the Trojans in 2024. This could be the perfect fit, a perfect storm to create something big over there in Louisville. Louisville? Take your preference. We also had Jaheim Otis, big Alabama D lineman, transferring over to Colorado. Shout out Scott, to play for Coach Prime, if he's there. We're assuming right now Coach Prime, Deion Sanders, is going to stay with Colorado. Maybe that's going to impact the transfer portal. Didn't do it for Otis. Going from Bama to Colorado hopefully will provide a major upgrade to that defense. And then finally, latest news, we had brothers Zachariah and Zion Branch from USC both entered the portal. And that's a major one to watch, and that's going to be a huge impact on USC, especially as we're seeing what's going to happen with Lincoln Riley. Will he stay? How will he improve this program? It has not been the rousing success that one would hope for as a coach as storied and hyped up as Lincoln Riley is coming out of Oklahoma there. They haven't done much of shit. So we'll see how that goes for them going forward. And then finally, this is the playoff. We're getting to the playoff, but we've also started bowl season. Bowl season came early for us, I guess around the same time. There's so many bowl games, and we're still trying to figure out how can we get a bowl game? We've seen all these wildly ridiculous names. My favorite still, the Idaho Mashed Potato Bowl. Famous Mashed Potato Bowl. Love mashed potatoes. I'm okay with Idaho. We should have a bowl game if Idaho gets a bowl game name. If mashed potatoes get a bowl, we could do something with the 323 network. It's about at least $500,000 to get the sponsorship. So, just send that our way. We'll throw the Cash App and the Venmo up. We've had some fun bowl games already. Started last Saturday at the IS4S Salute to Veterans Bowl. South Alabama and Western Michigan, they went at it. South Alabama won, though. They get that bowl game. They beat Western Michigan 30-23. We also had the Scooters Coffee Frisco Bowl, where it's Memphis beat West Virginia 42-37. We had the Art of Sport LA Bowl between UNLV and California. UNLV took the win there, 24-13. And we had the Boca Raton Bowl, the name that just rolls a lot better than the IS4S one. But JMU, James Madison, they beat Western Kentucky 27-17 there. We also have had the RNL Carriers New Orleans Bowl, where Sam Houston took down Georgia Southern 31-26. And then, hasn't started, but we're getting to it. On this debut of the expanded college football playoff, we will have the Staff DNA Cure Bowl probably going on as you're listening and watching this between Ohio and Jacksonville State, and the Union Home Mortgage Gasparilla Bowl between Tulane and Florida. If I'm looking at that, give me Jacksonville State and give me Florida. Florida was kind of fun there at the end of the season. And I could see them, capping it off with a good bowl win here. I don't know what it's going to mean for Gasparilla, but, get your Gasparilla on. Oh, the drums, though. The drums mean what's coming up. And that is only, and of course, the college football playoff. We don't need the Wheel of Degenerate. The Wheel of Degenerate only rolls with Scott. It doesn't like me. It doesn't come from me whatsoever. So we're not going to be doing the Wheel of Degenerate. I'm sorry. I know we can't do it. But we will go through and preview and just let you know what games are coming up. And I'll give you my thoughts, because I don't know how Scott's doing with the Wheel of Degenerate, but maybe I'll get you 4-0 in these games. In fact, I'm going to promise that I'm going to get you 4-0. Just like I destroyed the people of Seattle last week in Ricks versus Gricks, which you can find at 323 Reid this week. No live show on Ricks versus Gricks. You find it right on the Instagram and the TikTok at 323 REID. Destroyed Seattle with a guarantee, and I'm going to do it today. I'm going to guarantee I get all 4 of these playoff games correct. So we're going to start with the debut game here on Friday night. We have Indiana number 10 at Notre Dame number 7. Oh, Sigs. Oh, Sigs. I'm hoping for you. But, we're just happy to get you in. We're happy to get you into the playoff, right? We got a bunch of teams like that making it into the CFP. Not Alabama or Miami. But Indiana and Coach Sigs, Kurt Cignetti, he gets in here. He'll be taking on Marcus Freeman and Notre Dame. Man, Curtis Rourke has been fun for Indiana. Riley Leonard has been, salvageable in holding Notre Dame together. I'd never really particularly trust Notre Dame in major games, and they've been fighting for a long time to get here and to get into the college football playoff. Man, I want to pull the upset here and take Indiana, but I think this is just one that Notre Dame has to take. They have to take it to prove themselves. But they're not going to. It's going to be Indiana and Sigs. Indiana and Sigs will take the upset tonight and take down Notre Dame at this first college football playoff game in Notre Dame. There's no fancy names to these bowl games. Sorry to disappoint on that. It's just going to be all first round playoff games. Maybe we'll give them some type of fancy games in the graphics, but that's Scott's job to do the graphics on this one, just to pull the curtain back. We also tomorrow will have on TNT and Max, of all places, SMU number 11 taking on Penn State. SMU, that's your Cinderella team right there if you want one. That's the team that's, just happy to be nominated. And we'll see tomorrow if they can show that they deserve to be here and to be in this entire proceeding. I'm not going to call it for them right now. I was wildly impressed with Brashard Smith, their running back. Put up 1,270 in yards this season, 14 touchdowns. He's been a beast. But Penn State, they have been trying to prove themselves and trying to, just like Notre Dame, show that they belong, show that they can win this entire thing. I think that they're going to win this game. I'm not sure how far they're going to go in the playoff itself, but give me Penn State to beat SMU tomorrow. Should be fun no matter what. I'm looking forward to all these games. Clemson and Texas. Number 12 Clemson, they finished 10-3. Texas finished 11-2 at number 5. This is going to be a game right here. This is one I know 80% of analytics and fans are taking Texas in this one, and they should be favored. Their defense is insane. It's incredibly menacing and disruptive. We saw it in that championship game between them and Georgia. Clemson, though, sneaky, super sneaky. Cade Klubnik has been awesome for that team. 3,303 yards, 33 touchdowns, 5 interceptions on the season. Quinn Ewers was looking like a potential top 5 pick at the start of the season. That's what you're expecting and what you want to see. He's still playing in this, I would say, advanced Carson Beck level, right? Where you know that there's talent there, but there's limits, and you're going to get turnovers or turnover opportunities, at least 2 to 3 turnover opportunities from Quinn Ewers per game. Dabo is going to cause chaos. He's got the experience here in the playoff to potentially pull off an upset on the year. And I'm going to say that he does. Clemson's going to beat Texas in a huge shock of an upset and just destroy those Texan fans. I'm sorry, McConaughey, but I did not like how that game looked against Georgia. And I know it's against Georgia. It's a powerhouse of a defense. Clemson's defense is not that, but they are disruptive enough that they will manage to do it and get those turnovers out of Quinn Ewers. Maybe Arch Manning comes in and steals the job and saves the day, kind of similar fashion to Tua in taking that job from Jalen Hurts at Alabama some years back. I don't see it happening, though, tomorrow. I think Quinn Ewers puts them in a position that they can't escape from tomorrow, and Clemson gets a shock win. Finally, on the 21st, we have Tennessee at 8 p.m. Tennessee, number 9, they finished 10-2. They're taking on Ohio State, who finished 10-2 as well. They are ranked number 8. This is a massive game for Ohio State. This is a massive playoff for Ohio State, and especially for Ryan Day, who my prediction at the beginning of the season is that they lose. They lose big. Ryan Day gets fired, and you see him for the fraud that he is. We see the shadows of legendary coaches. Urban Meyer was the predecessor. You get a few good years where you're looking like you're that same guy, and then, those commits leave, they get into the NFL, things change, and you're really in command. Ryan Day fully takes over the team, and it starts to show falters. That has been beginning to happen for a few years. It's really set this season. And that loss to Michigan? Come on, State. Come on, Ryan Day. Like, you can't even get it in their down year. You can't beat Michigan then. Jim Harbaugh's gone. What are you afraid of? And then Will Howard is good. He's good, but he's not your traditional Ohio State quarterback. He isn't anything on the level of C.J. Stroud, Dwayne Haskins, all of those greats that have come before. And I'm not throwing a pattern out there. Scott can look for the pattern. Dwayne Haskins, C.J. Stroud, Justin Fields, Will Howard, whatever. Nico on the other side at Tennessee, on a surging Tennessee team that has been incredible with Dylan Sampson, 1,485 on yards, 22 touchdowns, man. Nico Ayamalavea. I think I did better than Scott ever did. He's an impressive young quarterback and has been causing such a surge for that team, a team that has been trying to make that push and take that step for a few years now. I truly believe Tennessee can pull this one off, maybe make a wild surge as they get deeper into the playoff. They have to take down Ohio State first, and I think it will happen. This is the collapse of Ohio State. This is the collapse of Ryan Day. This is the end of it here in the first round of the playoff. Tennessee is going to beat Ohio State. I didn't want to spoil it all for you, you know. Can't. I don't want to be that guy just spoiling the entire thing for you. But that's what's going to happen. Indiana is going to beat Notre Dame. Shout out Sigs. Penn State will beat SMU. Clemson is going to beat Texas. And Tennessee will beat Ohio State. All of these matchups are going to be seen again later. These winners that I just pulled for you, they will take on Boise State on the New Year's Eve game. And then you have the New Year's Six on January 1st, 2025, where we will once again see our other leaders here in the playoff: Arizona State, Oregon, and Georgia. I got Georgia takes for when Scott gets back too. Again, because I'm not going to do it right now because I'm in control and I can let the ego run wild. But I might have been wrong about Georgia during the preseason predictions. I'm not wrong about Ohio State and Ryan Day. I won't be wrong. I won't allow myself to be wrong there. But I might have been wrong about Georgia. But I'm not admitting that today. I'm just saying might. Folks, we got an awesome weekend. An awesome weekend of games. We're getting NFL games and college football playoff games at the same exact time. We had to take a break. We had to breathe on Ricks versus Gricks and all of that in order to enjoy this weekend. And then, we'll talk about it Monday going into the Christmas Ricks versus Gricks. But for now, I want you to enjoy this weekend. Have a very shameful time sitting on the couch watching all of these games all Saturday. Be safe. Let everybody know you love them. Have a very happy holidays as they're all hitting at the same time. Happy Chinooka, Smokey Robinson. Again, follow me at 323 Reid at 323 REID on all social media, and follow at 323 College Shame Day to find Scott Elia wherever he is. Tell him you hope he feels better, and get all these great updates and all the great college football news and expertise from him that you can get. Stay safe, everybody, and have a shameful weekend.